All right, it's live.
All right, the meeting for today, July the 22nd, Planning Commission is starting now. The first thing we're going to do is say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic, which is standing one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Robert.
Dear Father, bless this gathering. Do us with the sufficiency of thy divine wisdom that we may best service Canada. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. All right, can we have the roll call, please?
Mr. Sinek?
Here.
Mr. Ahmed?
Yes.
Mr. Bloom?
Present.
Mr. Pastor?
Here.
Ms. Zizou?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
And Ms. Holcomb?
Here.
Do we have a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting?
I so move.
Second.
All right. Any new business?
No new business.
Okay, so you want to start off with the first case, please?
Yes. Case P 720. An ordinance revoking the dedication of the 15-foot alley in 509 Highway Park Subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, bounded by unimproved 19th Street on the south, 20th Street on the north, Colorado Avenue on the west, and Connecticut Avenue on the east, which said property is owned by the city of Kenner.
All right. Mr. Dubois, can you give us an explanation?
Yes, I can. I'm going to share my screen with the presentation. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Excellent. The applicant in this case is RDRSS Investments, LLC, 900 LaSalle Street, Suite A, Metairie, Louisiana. The petition property, a 15-foot alley.
Okay, Mr. Dufour, you have the wrong screen on there. You have the zoning issue. There we go.
Okay. Sorry about that. It's the trying to get everything together. Okay, so this is a 15-foot alley in square 509 Highway Park Subdivision. It bisects the square in a north-south direction. Generally bounded by 3 north, 19th to the west, Metairie, formerly West Metairie on the south, Connecticut Avenue on the east, Colorado on the west. The unimproved alley measures 15 feet by 389, 1 feet by 15.2 by 387.4 feet, and is approximately 5,829 square feet. The applicant, in this case, owns all of the abutting lots, 2031 in square 509. The applicant is seeking to revoke the alley and subsequently re-subdivide the entire square into 2 lots and rezone those 2 lots from R1 to SI. Kenner has determined that this 15-foot alley is not needed for a public purpose and therefore supports the revocation request. And
All right, do we have any questions from any fellow commissioners before we start?
I've got
I
one.
have one.
Okay, Mr. Bloom?
I'm assuming that the adjoining property owners already own this. It's just subject to a usufruct or a servitude in favor of the city, which the city is now renouncing.
the applicant in this case owns the entire square.
I'm
So
sorry,
they are the property owner.
there's a squawk, Wendell, and I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, there's a distortion in the volume.
Coming from me?
No, it's coming from the background somewhere.
Um,
Hmm.
Well, I think it's coming from Bianca's because every time I hear it, the yellow box comes around Bianca's screen. Bianca, can you turn down your volume a little bit? Maybe you're getting feedback from your computer. Oh, we'll turn it off. Okay, let's see if it goes. Okay, go ahead,
Yes.
Mr. Dufour.
Did you hear me, Tom?
Did you get my question before?
I did. So in this particular square, the applicant for the revocation owns the entire square. So he is the property owner.
And so that alley is dedicated pursuant to a usufruct or a servitude, and that's being canceled now so that full ownership reverts to the property owner.
The city has already revoked a plethora of alleys in Highway Park. They did it by ordinance years and years ago, a mass revocation. For some reason, a handful of them were not included. And so the city is when requested revoking those alleys.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
All right.
Any other questions from any commissioners? No? Okay. Do we have anybody to speak in favor? All right. Anybody wants to speak against this? All right, no one. So do we have a motion on the floor?
I'll move to accept and recommend.
I second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. It
Aye.
passed then. All right, the next case would be P820.
Yes. Case P 820, an ordinance approving the sale of a 21,961 square foot portion of the Menden Avenue right-of-way between squares 4 and 5 Hanson Place Subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, which said property is owned by the city of Kenner.
All right, Mr. Dufour, can you give us the presentation, please?
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the shared screen. It's not showing up for me. And I don't know why.
I think we already know. That's what the writing says at the top of the computer, that we're viewing window P do for your screen.
Oh, it
Probably
does
got it.
in shared screen mode?
It's already in.
You have
You
to
just
end.
probably got to document.
Okay, I got you now. I'm not quite sure. So you can see my screen?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
It's 720 though. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, good. The applicant in this particular case is Carl Center LLC. Al Leone is representing the applicant, 4524 Bolac Lane, Metairie, Louisiana 70002. The petition property is a 21,961 square foot portion of improved Menden Avenue right-of-way. It sits between squares 4 and 5 Hanson Place Subdivision, generally bounded by Reverend Richard Wilson to the north, Blair Avenue to the east, Curtis Avenue to the west, and the Mississippi River levee to the south. All of the properties abutting this particular street are owned by the applicant, Carl Center LLC, zoned special industrial and developed as industrial uses. The applicant is proposing to purchase the subject right-of-way in order to close the street to traffic as a safety precaution to prevent cars from turning down Menden Avenue while they are moving heavy equipment and machinery between their warehouses across Menden. During the review process, it was noted that there were subject utilities underneath right-of-way, including sewerage, water, and drainage. However, the applicant has agreed to place a permanent servitude on the property, which allows access to the city and any utility companies for any service. And the applicant will maintain control of their own utilities from their buildings to the street right-of-way. An appraisal was performed by Neil Meyer of Murphy Appraisals dated January 23rd, 2020. Mr. Meyer determined the value of this section of improved Menden at $55,000. The applicant has agreed to the purchase price and to the previously outlined servitudes. So that concludes the presentation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dufour. Do we have anybody that wants to speak in favor of this?
Or questions first, right?
Question from the commissioners.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, any questions from any commissioners first?
Yeah, just one, Wendell, is there any conversation about whether or not he's gonna take up the right of way?
I'm sorry, Mark, you're kind of breaking up on me.
I said, is there any discussion that he's gonna take that right away and cover it up, or is he just gonna take on?
No, they are purchasing the right-of-way in order to essentially block off the street.
Right.
They don't want cars driving down Menden Avenue because they're
Right.
moving heavy equipment across Menden from one of their warehouses to the other.
Right,
So
yeah,
it's
okay.
liability.
Just wondering, was they gonna take the street? Whether or not they were gonna take the street up, put something of a heavier material.
No, that is not their plan.
Okay.
All right, do we have any other questions from any other commissioners first? No? All right, do we have, I see we got Mr. Al. Do you want to speak in favor of it? We have to turn his mic on. We don't hear him. All right, it's still off. Hit the little button. There we go. Oh, we don't have any voice. Oh. That's a shame.
We can't hear you, unfortunately. Your audio is not working. Let me stop the share screen to see if that makes a difference.
Oh, we don't hear him. Well,
Guess he could call in.
Well, let me ask you this. Al, is there anything that I haven't said that you need to add?
He's giving you a thumbs up, Wendell.
I don't think there's anyone here to speak against it, but, so.
all right. Well, if there's no one here to speak against it, let's have a motion on the floor, please.
I'll motion.
Second,
Second.
to
All in
adopt.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Leone. I guess the next case, P9.
Case P 920, an ordinance approving the lease of the unimproved portion of Oxley Street between squares 93 and 94 in an ordinance subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, which said property is owned by the city of Kenner.
All right, Mr. Dufour.
Pulling up the presentation.
All right.
Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Except for P8.
Yeah, we need P9.
This is P8.
What do you see? You should be on P9 now, right?
Well, it's not up yet.
Not up?
No.
Yeah, P8.
See? Shows that I'm sharing the screen. Let me stop the share and start again.
Yeah, it's probably just a little delay.
So I'm sharing the screen. I think I know what the.
There we go.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Video.
I might need to leave my share screen on just so that it.
Just click on that.
Right.
Start
All right.
video.
So this is case P9. The applicant is contractor Cabinet Tops doing business as Countertop Factory, 1101 11th Street, Kenner, Louisiana, 70062. The subject right-of-way fronts 10th Street and is generally bounded by 11th Street to the north, Daniel Street to the east, and Maria Street to the west. The subject portion of Oxley Street right-of-way is currently unimproved. The area to the northeast is zoned single-family residential and undeveloped. Squares 87 and 88 due south of 10th Street were zoned special industrial and contain businesses that are consistent with that zoning classification. Square 93, located adjacent to the east, is zoned SI special industrial and contains a building occupied by Countertop Factory. Property to the west is zoned recreation district and is developed as the Butch Dewey Sports Academy. This is a renewal of an existing lease that Countertop has with the city of Kenner for this particular right-of-way. And the city of Kenner has determined, again, that the subject property is not needed for a public purpose. The property is undeveloped, so there are no utilities. An appraisal was performed by Wayne Sandoz and Associates dated March 16th, 2020, determining the total fair market rental value of the unimproved property as $2,700 a year. The applicant has agreed to this lease amount. And that concludes the presentation.
Can you flip through the rest of the, all we see is slide number 1. Can you?
Really? That's it?
Yeah,
Yes.
all we see is one with all the thumbnails on the left.
Okay. You don't see what the aerial photograph up right now?
No,
No. We see the one with the pickup truck and all the marbles.
13.
What about now?
Yeah.
16.
That's a zoning map. There you go. That's it.
Okay. I think I see the problem. I think there's an issue with when I go to presentation screen, it must not stay in share mode. So I just need to leave it like this and just make it bigger. And zoom in a little more. How's that?
Oh,
Make it smaller.
you just made it smaller.
Made it smaller?
Yeah.
It was bigger a minute ago.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. So what did you want to see again, Mike?
Well, I mean, you have plenty of slides. All we saw was 1 or 2. You got how many slides? You got over 20 slides, huh?
Oh, no, that's for all the presentations.
Oh, okay. I thought that was just for P9.
Would you go back to the aerial, please?
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
They're using it for outdoor storage of their marble slabs.
Well, yeah, you can
I have a
see
quick
it.
question. It's hard to tell, but I assume that the outdoor slabs are fenced.
Yes.
Okay. If one of those things falls over, it'll kill you. I've handled them. They're not. They'll kill you faster than
We can see the fence.
yeah. Being that it was near a place where kids will play and whatnot, I don't want to give any chance for somebody to get in there and get hurt.
And not only is it fenced, it's kept locked.
I figured as much.
Do we have any other questions from any fellow commissioners first? No? Okay. Do we have anybody in favor? Mr. Meyer, you want to go ahead and speak for it?
It's really helped the business grow. It's a value to us, and we certainly enjoy Kenner has made it very easy to do business with, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, I do remember when you came in 3 or 4 years ago, because I do remember the being next to Bush Dewey Gym. So this is just a renewal of the existing lease.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Do we have anybody that want to speak against it? No. Okay. All right. Do we have a
Motion to adopt.
motion to adopt? Okay.
Second.
All right. Okay. Well then, let's vote. Everybody for it?
Yeah,
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes. All right. Thanks, Mr. Meyer.
Guys, thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's a pleasure doing business with you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, that concludes the planning commission part of the meeting. Now we're going to close that and open up the zoning. So do we have a motion to close?
Motion to
I'll
close.
motion.
I second.
Okay. All right, let's open up the zoning part of this meeting tonight. Ms. Darensburg?
You ready for the next case?
Yes.
Case Z220, an ordinance amending ordinance number 11,062, adopted by the city of Kenner, more particularly amending and rezoning lots X and Y, square 377, Veterans Heights Subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, from C1 neighborhood commercial to RR1 single family residential.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Dufour, can you give us the lowdown on this one?
And you can see my screen?
Yeah, we see it.
Okay.
Z220.
Excellent. So the applicant in this case, the owner of the property is Carla Vanessa Tercios. She's being represented by Mario Robena, 26 Monte Carlo Drive, Kenner, Louisiana, 70065. The subject properties are undeveloped and sit at the northwest corner of Square 377, bounded by 26th Street on the north, Idaho on the west, Illinois Avenue, 25th to the south, and Illinois Avenue to the east. Lot X is a corner lot that fronts on both 26th Street and Idaho Avenue. The applicant conducted a neighborhood meeting because of the COVID situation. We've been allowing the applicants to conduct virtual meetings. So he contacted all of them, and I also believe he actually talked to some of the neighbors. And he set up a time where they could call him or email him, and everyone who contacted him, who he talked to, expressed support for this. So the property is currently zoned C1. All of the lots in square 377, including those abutting lots X and Y to the east and south, are zoned C1 neighborhood commercial. All of them, however, are developed as 3 and 4 family residential developments. To the north, across 26th Street, the lots are zoned RR1 and developed as single family. Across Idaho Avenue to the west, lot B1 in square 375 is zoned C2, commercial, and developed as a commercial strip shopping center. Finally, the properties to the east across Idaho, to the east, are zoned C1 neighborhood commercial. It should be noted that, as I previously said, the entirety of this square is developed in some form of residential as 3 and 4 family, despite the entire block being zoned C1. Prior to 1978, lots X and Y were zoned R2. In 1978, they were rezoned to R3, multifamily. And in 94, they were rezoned to C1 and have retained that zoning until now. The pattern for progress future land use map identifies lots X and Y and the entire square as low density residential. Rezoning this land to single family is consistent with the comprehensive plan. That concludes the program, the presentation.
Can you show us the next couple of slides? that show that there used to be single-family residences there? Or you don't have that out?
I don't have the slides showing that,
Okay.
but
I just want to tell all the commissioners that there used to be a house on both lot X and another house, a single family on lot Y, X and Y. So it's just reverting back to what it used to be, single family, if we change the zoning.
I just would like to point, this is a very unusual block. The entire block is developed as 3 and 4 family homes on both sides of the block. Yet it's zoned C1. So essentially the entire block is non-conforming. So, you know, I'm not sure the rationale back in the early 90s and why that was zoned like that. But in the comprehensive plan, that block was identified as low density residential long-term. And so, you know, this particular rezoning really is in supportive of that. And with the properties across the street, and as you move to the north and to the east of the lots, everything is RR1. So, you know, that basically is what, you know, is the planning department's position, is that this fits with the comprehensive plan.
So it's not going to be 2, it's actually 1 lot. It's lot Y1. Okay.
Lot X and lot Y.
Well, yeah, but the new survey you just put up shows a new lot.
No, I have the new surveys for that. That was a mistake from the surveyor.
Oh.
So I didn't have a chance to put them in the presentation. I
Oh,
have surveys, 1 for each lot.
Okay, so it's going to stay 2 lots.
It's going to stay lot X and lot Y. Correct.
All right. All right, do we have any questions from any fellow commissioners?
Well, I've just Googled this location on my smartphone here, and it looks like there are just 2 houses, single-family houses to the east of the property in question. Although it's supposedly, one of them is supposed to be a business, it looks like a house. And, you know, across the street, there's another house with a kind of unsightly fence in front of it. So it looks like it would be compatible with what I'm seeing anyhow on the Google Street View, you know? So, because I was concerned that this house would be stranded in the middle of a commercial area, but apparently not.
So if you notice on this map, these are the 2 lots on the slide. Every, you know, all of the rest of the properties essentially are residential. Across the street, along Caddy Corner, and then going to the east, to the northeast, and then to the west, predominantly single-family residential, RR1. So, no, we didn't see any, you know, I didn't see any reason why. And the comprehensive plan calls for this to eventually long-term go to low-density residential. But you know, that's a long-term look. We do need to look at rezoning most of this square out of C1. But that's another issue that we're going to take up down the road. Citywide rezoning of some squares.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dufour. Do we have any other commissioners have a question? All right, let's see, we have Mr. Robane. Do you want to speak in favor of it? Dana?
Mario, you know how to turn off your
mute?
The mute button?
Oh, We don't hear him and we don't see him, but he is present.
Yes, he is here. I mean, he's planning on building single-family homes.
Okay, 2 single families.
Yeah, as far as I know. Yes.
Okay. All right. Is there anybody that wants to speak against it? No, okay. We have a motion from the floor.
I move.
Second,
All right, somebody seconded it?
second,
That's a move to, motion to adopt, right?
Yes,
Yes.
motion to adopt. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. All right, the next case, Ms. Dansberg, Z3, all right.
Case Z 320, an ordinance approving the plan of re-subdivision of lots 1 through 31 and a revoked 15-foot alley, all in square 509, Highway Park Subdivision, Jefferson Parish, into lots 1A and 15A. Amending ordinance number 11,062, more particularly amending and rezoning lots 1A and 15A, square 509, Veteran Heights Subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, from RR1 Single Family Residential to SI Special Industrial.
Thank you, Ms. Dansberg. Okay, Mr. Dufour.
Thank you. Essentially, this is the same property that was the subject of the alley revocation. Square 509. It's same owner and applicant. As I said, they had an early neighborhood meeting in which Councilman Segura attended as well and had discussions regarding the rezoning of the property. So all of the property residents are on board. They actually thought the property had already been rezoned because it was airport buyout property. So that meeting was held on June 15th. So the petition property at lots 1 through 31 and the alley in square 509, bounded by unimproved 19th Street, formerly West Metairie on the south, 20th Street on the north, Colorado Avenue on the west, Connecticut Avenue on the east. All of these lots were sold to the airport as part of the buyout program, so are subject to the development restrictions that include no residential development. Square 493, located across Connecticut Avenue to the east, is zone RR1 single family and is developed as single family residences. Square 504 to the north across 20th Street is zone RR1 single family residential and is predominantly undeveloped. However, this square does include a substantial amount of airport owned land with a few privately owned lots that are still developed as single family. To the west, across Colorado Avenue, the lots are zoned RR1 single family, and the entire square is undeveloped, pretty much. The across the canal is the AT&T site, which is a maintenance yard under a special ordinance. The zoning on this property has been primarily from 1957 until 1972, zoned R2, but then from 72 until now, RR1 single family. This particular square is identified as mixed use, non-residential in the future land use map, which is the land that was designated surrounding the airport and also for airport owned property. It can't go back residential. So this land use was intended primarily for areas in the city that included a majority of land purchased as part of the airport program. In this case, it cannot go back to, in this case, residential, and is precluded from certain uses within certain noise contours. So the subject square to special industrial is supported by the comprehensive plan. That concludes the planning department's presentation.
All right, so in other words, we're going from all those individual lots to 2 lots, but it's going to include the 15-foot alley down the middle, correct?
The 15-foot out, yes. I had a discussion with the legal department on how this all works. So the alley is being revoked. And then there will be a re-subdivision of the revoked alley and these lots into the 2 new lots. That ordinance will then rezone those 2 re-subdivided lots from RR1 to SI Special Industrial.
Okay, I understand. All right, do we have any questions from any fellow commissioners?
What does the owner plan to do with the new re-subdivided and rezoned property?
He's relocating his electrical business and his inspection business to that site.
Is it someplace else in Kenner right now?
It is in, I'm not 100% sure. I don't think so.
We're in Metairie. I'm sorry, we're located in Metairie. This is Randy Farrell on the line. How you doing?
All right.
Yeah, so they're located in Metairie, but they're moving to Kenner.
Well, okay, well, we encourage that.
Dude,
That was my only question.
this is similar to the other rezonings we've had in this area, the special industrial. I don't think, traditional commercial is what's appropriate back up in that area. You don't want to generate a lot of traffic coming through the neighborhood, and these types of uses usually generate less traffic. And the residents are supportive, and is the councilman, so.
All right, do we have any other questions from a fellow commissioner? All right, Randy, you want to go ahead and speak in favor of it? Tell us what you're going to do, and is the general public going to be visiting the site or no?
Actually, it's going to house a warehouse with my my trucks and my vans. That we do a lot of work out of town with Tesla Motors and Volkswagen. But right now in Metairie, they're selling the building we're in, so it was more advantageous for us to buy and build our own building. So we were going to take half of the lot and build our own building and our own little compound where we keep all of our materials and our office where we can do our inspections out of. And that's why the way we designed it to eventually build is we had basically fenced off that one section away from the houses so that we wouldn't interfere with the homeowners. That's what they were happy about. We were going to go up Colorado Street for them.
Is the general public going to be visiting you at that warehouse, or just for your workers?
Very seldom. Every once in a while, we have a contractor may drop us off some permits that we drop off to the city of New Orleans or to Jefferson Parish for them. They bring them into us and we drop them off for them as a convenience.
Okay.
But it's very seldom, especially being moved out to Kenner. It's easier for them to just go to Jefferson Parish themselves.
And the other empty lot, is that will be for sale one day, or just?
Either for sale or may develop it at a later date, but not at this time. It's just going to stay a green space right now.
So which one are you going to develop first? The one against the canal?
No, the one away from the canal. I'm doing
on the north side. Okay.
Yeah, I took the first 8 lots on both sides and make it a 200-foot by 255-foot square right there. So that's the one edge.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Farrell. Do we have anybody in the audience that wants to speak against it? No? Okay. Any other commissioners want to ask the owner anything? No. All right, do we have a motion on the floor to adopt?
I'll
So
move.
moved.
Motion.
Okay,
Second.
second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Farrell.
Thank you all. I appreciate it very much.
All right. The last zoning one.
Case Z420. An ordinance amending ordinance number 11,062 adopted by the city of Kenner, more particularly amending and rezoning lots 15 through 20, lots 93 through 98, square 178, Veterans Heights Subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, from R1 Single Family Residential to C2 General Commercial.
Thank you, Ms. Stansberg. All right, Mr. Dufour, please give us the details on this one.
The applicant in this case is Mr. Ahmad Siddiqui, and Mr. Siddiqui conducted his early neighborhood meeting in the same format as I mentioned earlier. He sent out his letters and provided 2 opportunities on 2 separate days for anyone contact, call him or email him with any questions. And I believe he did not receive any. So that was the neighborhood meeting. This particular property is located fronting Veterans Boulevard, generally bounded by Interstate 10 to the north, Greenwood Street to the east, and Fayette Street to the west. The property abutting the subjects to the north is zoned R3, 3 and 4 family residential, developed as 3 or 4 family residential uses. The property located to the in square 179 to the east is zoned C2 general commercial and developed as a used car sales lot and strip shopping center. The lots in square 177 along Veterans Boulevard to the west are zoned C1 neighborhood commercial and undeveloped, while the remaining lots in square 177 are zoned R3 and developed primarily 3 and 4 family, vacant land, and RV storage. The property fronting the south side of Veterans Boulevard, located in square 189 across from the subject, are zoned R2, 2 family residential, and developed as a church. The subject property was originally zoned R2. In 1978, it was zoned to R3, 3 and 4 family. In 1988, the subject lots were rezoned to general office and remained in general office until 2008, when the subject lots were zoned to R1 single family residential. And that zoning is still in place. The city's future land use plan identifies the subject lots as neighborhood commercial. However, the plan also identified the Veterans Boulevard corridor as likely to be impacted by the relocation of the airport terminal to the north side. The plan was completed prior to the north terminal's relocation. We know now that Veterans is the major corridor linking Williams, I-10, and Loyola to the new airport. There have been other properties rezoned to C2 along Veterans in response to the changing land use dynamics. The proposed rezoning of these lots is consistent with the overall development patterns that have been emerging along that portion of Veterans Boulevard. So that concludes the.
Thank you, Mr. Dufour. It looks like it's the only R1 out there right now. It's the only yellow one on that zoning map.
From what I understand, that zoning was put in place to allow the church to be built. So it had been, general office was prominently what those properties were zoned. Then they were rezoned out of general office in 2016 when we adopted the Unified Development Code and rezoned a lot of that to what the actual uses were. So in this case, the lots fronting Veterans were left as R1, it was owned by a church. So they were going to build the church, but they never did. So if you'll notice, a lot of the properties that front Veterans there are zoned C2 or C1, with the exception of these lots and the ones across the street, which were rezoned to allow a church. Across the street, a Jehovah's Witness church was built and is still existing, but no church was ever built on these lots. So the request is consistent, as far as we're concerned, with what's been done along Veterans Boulevard. And so we think overall, this is a positive for the city to put these properties into commercial use of some sort.
All right, thank you. All right, do we have any commissioners who want to ask a question first?
I'll make an observation that on either side of that Jehovah's Witness church, there's a Family Dollar on one side and a General Dollar or something like that on the other side. So, you know, maybe we'll have a Woolworth across the street, you know. Resurrect Woolworth, right?
Yeah.
Gonna be optimistic for the-
Okay.
All right, any other commissioners have any questions?
No.
No? All right. I see Mr. Siddiqui here. Can you go ahead and open up your mic and speak in favor? Tell us what you want to do with the property.
Hi, we are just looking to develop the property and commercial develop the property and bring business there.
All right, that's better than having a vacant land. Any commissioner have a question for the owner?
Yes, do you have any particular kind of business you're focusing on?
We are in the parking lot business, airport parking, and we have intention to do the same, move second location on the side of the airport. Right now, I am 1601 Airline Drive, Canal, NOLA parking. So we are like to open the second location for airport parking.
All right. Well, you'd be the closest one to the airport, right across the street, basically.
We used to be on 1601 Airline Drive, but now we are trying to open here.
All right. Any other questions from any commissioners first? No, okay. I have to ask, is there anybody in the audience that wants to speak against this proposal? No, all right.
Motion to adopt.
All right,
Second.
Second.
second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Siddiqui.
Thank you very much, all of
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so
All
much.
right,
Thank you, Mr. Window.
You're welcome.
all right, I think that's the last case, or do we have well, do we have any new business first?
No new business.
No new business, except just another heads up on the status. The governor, as you know, extended phase 2. I think we're going to be in phase 2 as long as the infection rates are where they are right now, which is in Louisiana, somewhere around 10% or something, I think they were saying. So I would say we're going to have, as far as I can tell, it looks like we're going to have 3 cases for next month, maybe 4. I'm waiting on something. I'll know probably midway through the month whether or not we'll be able to get back into the council chambers or continue to do it by Zoom. Although we seem to be getting a little better at it.
Yes, I mean, we did 6 of them today and it's not even 7 o'clock. That's pretty good.
And we managed to eliminate that squawk that was present in the first 15 minutes. So.
Well, that was Bianca's feedback.
Oh, no.
She took care of it.
So anyway, that's where we stand right now in terms of next month's meeting. I will be updating everyone if we have any change in status. I would assume a Zoom meeting at this point, unless the governor allows us into phase 3, in which case we possibly could go back to the council.
That would be great.
That's all I have at this point.
Move to adjourn.
Yes. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I just did.
Second.
All
I
right.
second.
Okay, the meeting is closed.
Hopefully see you guys
Thank
next
you.
meeting in the chamber.
Thank you.
See y'all next month then,
Stay safe.
wherever
Thank-
we are.